Who among us doesn't love coffee? If you don't, you shouldn't be among us. Anyway, guys, here we're going to talk about something that can be quite emotional for some folks and maybe a bit less so for folks like me. I'm an atheist, and I have a lot of Christian friends and a handful of Muslim friends who will occasionally ask me why I am an atheist. Why do I not believe in God? And my best answer to them has been, well, why do you believe in this God? Why do you accept your prophet as being the sum source of truth and the path to this enlightenment that you talk about? And there are actually times when you hear some rather emotionally compelling arguments for that. But I haven't found any reason compelling arguments for it. And I guess that's the bottom line for me. If you look at the world today, there's something on the order of a couple of score of religions that are actively practiced. And those are groupings of religions, by the way. I'm calling Christianity one religion when in fact there's a huge diversity in that. You can have the Orthodox, you can have the Coptics, you can have Jehovah's Witnesses, Mormons consider themselves Christian. There's a variety of Christians in there, many of whom say point blank the other guys, in fact, are not true Christians. There are at least two major splits within the Muslim world, and there's some subsects even within that. Among pagans, there are several different types of pagans. So if you look at the different types of groupings there, you're probably talking about several hundred distinct religions. Among those are some highly intelligent people. I know there's been a recent study talked about how are atheists more intelligent. Well, maybe as a group their IQ might average a little higher than believers, but then you also have to remember that among the believers they have a large grouping of relatively unintelligent people, and that may sway the average, because that is certainly not to be assumed that highly intelligent people are not believers. They are. I've known people who are more intelligent than myself, and I have a high IQ, but I've met people with much higher IQs who are in fact believers in Christianity or believers in Islam. So that doesn't really explain the overall attraction of religions. For whatever reason, people seem to need religions. They need a belief outside of themselves. They need a belief in a power that is one that they can appeal to outside of themselves. That's something other than government. That's one of the problems of people on the left, is having thrown out religions, they still have that need for that power outside, and frankly government and governmental power becomes their religion, and government leaders become their gods, not unlike the Caesars being made godlike figures in Rome in its later years. Take a look at some of the sheer adoration of Barack Obama. There are people who are on the verge of worshiping the man. I don't think I've ever seen that among limited government people. I've never seen that among conservatives. Ronald Reagan is a revered figure, but he was not a godlike figure to anyone that I've ever met. But there are liberals who are seeing Barack Obama as a mythic figure who has godlike powers, and they worship government. Most atheists like myself, we have a tough time worshiping anything, because it always boils down to faith. You have to come to a grip of faith. And I don't have faith. I believe in good and evil, because I think that there are some things that we can define as good and evil. And being able to see it and define it, therefore it must exist. But other than that, I don't see the existence of God in everything that I see before me. My Christian friends would tell me that that's just not true, and that they would hope that I would come around to the grace of God's love. All right, well, maybe, but I don't see it happening. If you got any comments on that, folks, please let me know what you think. This is Gaius.